culture. So guys, this is the Pack a Punch podcast. We're here with Alex Smith, CEO and founder of Spartan Solar. Alex, how are you?
Doing great, Lewis.
Good.
My man.
Alex, what really got you into sales?
I got pretty lucky. So when I was at FSU, I was majoring in the business. I was doing finance. I quickly realized I wasn't going to do accounting because I had some people that had nightmare experiences of working 80 hours a week in a cubicle. But I still stayed with finance, and then I added in marketing, and then one of my buddies told me about professional sales, and that the teacher that was teaching it was actually in sales himself, which is the opposite of most teachers. Most teachers just teach the theory they've never done in practice. And so I was like, all right, I'll give it a go. So I went to the class with him. It was supposed to be just one class. I picked up the major because this guy was making like $300,000 a year on insurance, on residual. And I was just like, damn, this is the first teacher I've ever met that's making good money.
Yeah.
And then he's teaching something that he's actually doing. So I was able to buy into what he was selling, which was selling. And then what ended up happening was people started coming. He would bring different recruiters or different people from companies to try to recruit the sales team, because it turns out we're the most valuable team in the entire college campus, essentially, because who else is better for a company than this people that know how to sell? And so we would have these people that just graduated from college. They may have been with a company for 2-3 years. They explain their success story. Someone making $100K, $150K a year. And it was a totally different world than what I was hearing, 50, 60, 70K a year.
Yeah.
All my friends were going down that rabbit hole. So all of a sudden I just realized, okay, I want to do sales. I made that a major of mine. And I just knew I was going to do sales. I just didn't know what I was going to sell until I luckily stumbled across the solar industry.
Solar, for sure. So how did you come across solar?
I didn't go to any career fairs, except for I went to one sales career fair. So the main career fair everyone at FSU would go to, I did not attend.
Okay.
I would rather be spending my time partying and doing other stuff. That was where most of my time was going. And because I just wasn't interested in it. And then there was a sales career fair, which is more exclusive. I went to that, and all the recruiters recruiting were just not people I wanted to be like. So early on, I kind of realized if they're people, like same with the fraternity I joined, I wanted to be around people I wanted to be like or be with.
Yeah.
And so these recruiters did not fit that mold for me. So I got in a bunch of interviews, but I just didn't show up to any of them because ultimately I kind of knew deep down that wasn't for me. And then I got into a weird situation where all my other friends had picked their jobs, they've selected their jobs, they know where they're going after college, and I had nothing lined up, which is a weird feeling to be in because you got one semester left. I got my last semester, and then an acquaintance of mine, I wasn't like really good friends with him, but we played some volleyball together. He was in the bar industry like I was. He told me he went out to California and made $10,000 his first month out there selling solar.
Sheesh.
And I was like, what do you mean you made $10,000 selling solar? How does it work? He's like, well, it's no money out of pocket. They spend less money on a bill they're never going to cancel. And at this time there's leases, so they're not getting money back from the government. But it was just, we're cutting people's bills down by 25, 30%. Doesn't cost them anything to do it. It just sounded like a no-brainer to me. So that's when I borrowed $4,000 from my grandma, because I didn't have any money. Spent all my bartending dollars to fly out to California, signed a 12-month lease, so it was do or die, 100% commission-based, didn't have money for next month's rent. So that's what got me into solar. And I was telling everyone, this is my favorite part about that story, is I was telling everyone at college, all my friends, close acquaintances, that I took a job making $120,000 a year. So they all took a 60, 70K a year job, but I was like, dude, I'm making 120K a year. I took a 6-figure job, even though none of it's guaranteed, because it's all 100% commission. But I kept telling everyone that was the truth, and then first year I made 155K.
So for you, you took a big bet on yourself. What really led you? Was there a certain experience that really led you to start really thinking like an entrepreneur?
I just really believed in myself. So when I was in my fraternity, I was sorority relations chair. So I got to go in front of large chapters of women and speak to 200 girls at a time. So I knew I could talk to people. I knew I liked doing that too. And then I was rush chair, so I was actually recruiting people as a rush chair from to my fraternity as opposed to other fraternities. And then I was the sentinel, which is like the pledge master. So I ran all these different positions, which made me realize I really liked at most, my favorite one was the recruiting chair. I really liked bringing people into an industry. And so, but when I was like leaving college, or right before I left, there was this alumni game I always will remember. And one guy came back, and I was good friends with him while he was there. He came back and he just told me something along the lines of, you need to live it up, man. Like, this is the best time of your life. After college, everything's kind of downhill, more or less what he said. And I just remember thinking, I was like, dude, that's not going to be me. I was like, I'm not going to wish I was back here when I leave. I was like, that sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah.
And so my big thing, like leaving college, before I left, I just had this thing in my mind where, dude, when I leave here, like I was very well known in this little bubble. I would say I'm very successful in this little bubble of FSU Tallahassee.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, I'm successful here. I want to do that again, but in a bigger bubble, which is like, you know, in the career world, in the solar industry. And so my thought processes was like, I'm going to leave everyone and everything I know behind and get somewhere else where I can get my distractions and bad vices and all these things that I know I would say yes to and pull me back. I wanted that to be over here while I went over there where everyone's like, what the heck is Alex doing? And in the beginning, my motivation was, I wanted to make $10,000, $20,000 a month. But your motivation and what drives you changes over time. In the beginning, I just wanted everyone back at FSU to be saying, dude, what the heck is Alex Smith doing? Like, this guy has changed. He's different. I re-identified who I was. I became the person I wanted to be. Like, I wanted everyone saying that, and I just made that happen.
What would you say is a key thing that really helped you take off this year with Spartan Solar?
I would say a key thing that helped me take off is, and Michael O'Donnell framed it the right way, I killed what was killing me. And so I've been in the industry for 5 years. I was director of sales of the company. I grew one organization. And then I switched that, left and became regional manager of another organization and grew multiple offices there. So I saw a moderate amount of success. For some people, quite a bit of success, they might say, because, you know, toward the end, I was making about $500,000 a year on just residual, essentially overrides because of what I built, plus my own sales. So a lot more there. And so when I decided to start my own company, I had to give all that up and start back at zero, which I've done before. So I knew I could start at zero. Which, if you have those reference points of like pain thresholds you push through before, it allows you to do a lot more because you take more risk knowing you can handle it. But you never get there without taking those first gambles. And so when I started this company, I was still doing a lot of the same things. I always knew certain things that were holding me back. For me, that was drinking and women. Those are my two things that were killing me. And it's like deep down, you know, these things take you away from what really serves you and makes you better and makes you feel good. Because those are just short-term relief and short-term gratification for long-term disaster and self-destruction. And so when I started this company, I was still doing some of the same things. They're still drinking, still thinking about, you know, girls and spending my time elsewhere. And then I remember this one moment came where, you know, we got the office space in Orlando, Florida, in Winter Park. We got it secured. It was my first like real fixed expense, you know, $4,500 a month, which doesn't seem like a lot now, but then it seemed like a lot because it's like, I got to pay this bill no matter what we do. And I showed up and there was like 15 guys in the meeting. We had a bunch of new guys start, Donovan and all his crew. And I just remember this, I was hungover from the weekend before. I just remember this feeling of lack of clarity, fatigue, brain fog. And all of a sudden, like, all these people are here relying and dependent on me to be the leader and be the person that sets an example. And I just remember that very moment deciding I would never, ever show up to a meeting without 100% clarity, focus, and energy. And so at that very moment, I completely stopped and decided I do not drink. So I killed that thing that was killing me. And then I also, at essentially that very moment, I just, you know, left my focus on, you know, the one girl who's my girlfriend in my life now. And she was, you know, we were back and forth back then, but it's allowed me to focus my energy and time as, you know, here's just one person I chose. I do not drink. Killing those two things allowed me just to become more of who I was. And that, I think, was the most critical thing for the growth of this company. I just had to be a good example.
A lot of young entrepreneurs watch the show. What's a takeaway that you could give them to maybe even help them build a successful business like you have with Spartan?
Dude, here's one thing that, you know, as I've grown in my positions, I've recognized was one of my strong suits early on, is in order to be a good leader, you first must be a good follower. So what I mean by that is, in the beginning, you're going to join a company. There might be things you agree with and things you disagree with. And, you know, sometimes you got to kind of sack up and just do the things that they say to do, because at the end of the day, like, that just shows you're a good leader. And then you could speak your voice behind closed doors. Right, give your opinions, give your questioning, but because if you're the person that in the beginning, like, everything that's like, hey, we need to try this, because I believe in failing fast, so you need to be able to fail fast, and then like, hey, like, there's plenty of times where I screw up and I may think, hey, this is a genius structure or system or process that we're going to use, and we do it, I'm like, that was dumb, let's change that real quick, but at least we tried it, so we know it, we didn't just take forever thinking about how it would work out. So I believe in failing fast, and you can't fail fast if you have a bunch of people that are what we call why men. right? So they say, why? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? And they never allow you or buy fully into the thing you want to try. So you really never know if things are going to work out. So being a why man is different than questioning and bringing your opinions. It's being a person that when these things are decided upon, you still say why. Why are we doing this? And you say that to everyone around you, so people don't understand the vision and people don't buy in. So in order to fail fast, you first must have people that are good followers. So for me, I was always a very good follower. I did the right things. I listened to what the training was on, whatever it was about. Like, I embraced it, embodied it, and then did it. And so I was just a really good representative of the companies I was with, and I flew the flag at a high level and a high light, so people saw it and knew, like, hey, this is like the face of the company. I was always the face of whatever company I was with. So I didn't even think about that until you said that, but to ask this question. But I was always I made sure I was the face of the company, and through social media, through being a good brand ambassador, from being a good follower, and then ultimately I became the leader of every single company I was with. So be a good follower first. That's one piece of advice. Another one would be burn your ships. You cannot have a plan B. If there's B, C, D, E are options, when things get tough, you will take those. B, C, D, E options must all be A. They must all be the same thing.
Yeah.
Because if you have a bunch of other fallbacks in case things don't work out for you, like, things get tough. People that make a lot of money, people that see a lot of success, they push through those experiences that are very, very tough and grueling and daunting and stressful, and then they come out the other end. They stretch themselves thin and then become stronger. It's like in the gym, like, you push your muscle at a new weight, and yeah, it's going to hurt, and yeah, you're going to strain, you're going to break down the fibers, but that's the only way to rebuild stronger. So you have to have that. You have to have that persistence, and the only way I think most people can have that is by burning your ships and, like, having just this is the one thing I'm going to do. Otherwise, you become mediocre at everything, which is what most people are, rather than great at anything.
Wow. Where do you see Spartan Solar by the end of this year, by December?
End of this year, I see us doing $150 million in sales. I know for a fact we'll have Tampa and Orlando producing at a high clip. I think by the end of the year, we'll be doing about 2.5 to 3.5 megawatts a month. Right now, we're doing 1 to 1.5 megawatts a month, which is pretty solid, but I think we will double that. And then I believe we're going to find the other leaders that want to show themselves and want to be those people, so we can open a satellite office. I think Texas is going to be crushing, but I would imagine by the end of the year, and I keep writing it down, we'll have, even by middle of summer, we'll have 100 plus sales reps, and then by the end of the year, we'll have 5 to 6 successful offices. And by successful, I mean that office is producing at least 50 deals a month, and then the bigger ones will be 100, which will get us to that 3 megawatt a month goal.
What's your end goal with solar? Where do you see solar? Where do you see your company in 10 years?
Dude, I'm selling what's ever moving.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna lie to anybody and say, like, solar is my end all be all for the rest of my life. Like, I'm gonna continue to sell this and build something special where people can plug and play. And what gives me the most satisfaction is helping someone go from nothing or moderate success in their life. Maybe they made 50K the last year. Maybe they made 40K. Maybe they made 100K. And then allowing them to become better and develop themselves through the right structure and through the right people around them, surrounding them, to where they can see that level of success of, there's nothing better than becoming better. And so I see myself continuing to build, continuing to grow, continue to empower people, continue to get better myself as a leader. Like, I pay a lot of money to improve my own skills regularly. And then just continuing to do this thing until the wheels fall off. Until there's no longer money to be made, which that could be a long time away, until it's no longer the best opportunity. Like, I feel like the people I'm working with, including yourself, Lewis, the people I'm working with today, because we build something so strong and so powerful and so effective for those involved that put their time, blood, sweat, and tears in it. If solar is not the end all be all future in 5 years, I firmly believe this core group of people is going to be able to follow me and come with me to the next endeavor, whatever that is. We're going to sell what's ever moving. Maybe that means we're getting into, master real estate groups, and we're just syndicating massive deals because we've gotten to that place in our life. Who knows where that's going to be? But I think no matter what, the core group from this organization is going to continue to be together in all these endeavors where we can, look back and end up like Jeff Mendez, where you own 120 businesses and own 50,000 doors. So our story is going to change, but the people I think we're going to be with, a lot of I think are going to be the same. Yeah.
So culture, and I can attest to this, the culture at Spartan Solar is unmatched. Everybody, it seems it's literally a money fraternity.
Money fraternity, I like that.
Money fraternity. Everybody's very, very close. How were you able to get everybody so close? Because the culture here is insane. So how were you able to create that?
That's an interesting question to try to dissect. I think I had 5 years of experience, 4 years of experience in this industry before I started my own company. Mm-hmm. So I think all of that, I was able to look at what worked and what didn't work and the goods and the bads. So like what we have today is a splice of everything. That's just the truth. Like it's a splice of what I view to be the best things. And then I hired these coaches to continue to get insight on what helped them build successful organizations. As far as the culture side, the business side, the structure, really a good culture is a winning culture. That's really all it is. So an organization that's winning when people are producing, making a lot of money, like that's what makes a good culture, because that provides the inspiration, that allows a place where people from the outside that want to hit these certain, that desire these things, the money, whatever, the person they want to become, when they can see that they have that in this little bubble called Spartan Solar, and that'll make them want to join us because of that winning environment. That's what creates the culture. And I think besides just like the winning environment, and I think the co-collaboration is huge too. Mm-hmm. A lot of the companies I was with before, they kind of created, not all entirely, but they, made decisions inside of a bubble, which means like they didn't include everyone in on it. I do upcoming leadership meetings, which, you're a part of. We do the leadership meetings with the people that are already leaders, and constantly trying to call and get feedback from everyone on what we can do better and the things that are doing well. I think that's allows you guys, you can tell me yes or no, but when you help create a competition or do these things, I think that allows you to feel like you're more part of the company, which is really all that culture is feeling like you belong and have a voice in it.
For sure.
I firmly believe you can get whatever you want in life as long as you help enough people get what they want in life. So those are the two guiding principles I always live by. Other things I say will change, like this interview right here. The things I say, I don't expect me to say the same things. I think there's some core fundamentals that will remain and principles that will remain the same. But, in a year, I would imagine I'm an entirely different person than I am today. Just like a year from last year, I'm an entirely different person. So I believe the things I say and the way I do things will continuously evolve, but the principles will remain the same.
Yeah. And if you had to take everything away, everything you've created away, and you're fresh, but you have the mindset you currently have, what would be your first step? Would it be go reach out to a mentor? What would you do?
I'd go sell some solar. I'd just go out and sell the same thing I've done every single time I've started at zero. I'd just go out and sell, create success, share the success, and then bring people in that want to be part of the success. I would just build. Again, show that it can be done through myself, get another person in and show that it can be done with them, so I'm not just this unicorn, right? Have someone else see success, and then bring another person, help them see success. And you do that enough times over, you can create this core group that you can grow through, which is exactly what we did here, what I've did with other companies, and I think we did it the best here. So I would do the exact same thing I've done both times. I've had to start from zero 3 times now, from having nothing, then getting it all, then losing it all, then restarting and doing the same thing over and over again. So I just know that's all it takes, and I can do it whenever I need to. So I have no fear in losing everything. I think a lot of people have that fear, so they hold on to everything they got. They hold on to every dollar they have, afraid to invest back in the company because they don't know if they can do it again. Mm-hmm. I know I can do it again, so I'll invest heavily into my guys. I'll bring you guys on crazy trips to just to continue to develop everyone, because I know I could do it all from zero again if I lose everything today.
Wow. And where can we find you on social media, Alex?
Alex H. Smith, the one and only, the most powerful man on planet Earth. I am Wim Hof. I am the Iceman. I am flexible. I just constantly embody power. And the reason I say this is because I tell people this all the time. I am powerful. I'm the Iceman. When I'm working on stretching and trying to get more flexible, I just say I am the most limber human being on the planet. So I constantly tell people the things I want to become or want to believe, and so I put that out there. So when I say that to you guys, it's not bragging. It's just because I do believe I'm super powerful, and I want you guys to know it. So I vocalize and verbalize the things I'm thinking, so it becomes the reality, and the perception of me is of that.
Fire.
Alex H. Smith, baby.
Straight fire. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Lewis.
I appreciate it.
Let's go play some basketball, dude.
Let's go play some basketball.